Ethan Reynolds stood outside one of his own car dealerships, squinting up at the massive blue and silver sign that bore his family name, Reynolds Auto Group. 6 locations now carried his legacy. The business had been handed down to him by his father, a man known for integrity and fairness in every transaction. Ethan often wondered whether he'd been worthy of the trust his father placed in him. And yet, he hadn't set foot in this particular branch, the Springfield location, in over a year. Reports from the district manager were inconsistent. Sales were steady, but customer complaints had been rising in concerning numbers. Something wasn't right, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to find out just how deep the problem ran. He adjusted the fake beard in the reflection of a nearby car's side mirror. His usually clean-shaven jawline was hidden beneath coarse facial hair. A pair of glasses that weren't prescription framed his eyes, and an old baseball cap shadowed most of his face. The denim jacket he wore was frayed at the cuffs, his faded t-shirt a far cry from the tailored suits he typically wore when walking into any of his showrooms. That he inhaled deeply. Maybe relying on managers to run the day-to-day had been his biggest mistake. But that was going to change. Ethan stepped through the automatic glass doors into the brightly lit showroom. The familiar scent of new leather mixed with the slightly bitter aroma of coffee brewing in the corner. The place hummed with sales chatter, laughter that sounded more forced than genuine, and the clack of computer keyboards. His plan was simple: pretend to be a customer. Watch, listen, figure out what was really happening behind the polished glass and painted smiles. Within moments, a tall salesman in his early 30s approached him. Slicked back hair, a gleaming smile that seemed almost too wide. His name tag read, Brandon. Hey there. Brandon greeted him cheerfully. Looking for a new ride today? Just browsing, Ethan replied, keeping his voice casual and unassuming. Thinking about a pickup? Something reliable. Brandon's grin widened. You came to the right place, man. We've got some killer deals on trucks right now. In fact, he gestured toward a gleaming black pickup parked near the entrance. This baby right here just got a brand new engine. Replaced it last week. Runs like a dream. Ethan's stomach turned. He knew that truck. That truck had been on the lot for 8 months. It hadn't had an engine replacement, just a routine oil change and tire rotation 3 months ago. He forced his expression to remain neutral. New engine, huh? That's a big upgrade. Brandon nodded confidently. Oh yeah, the previous owner blew it out, so we dropped in a fresh one. That's why it's listed a little higher, but trust me, it's worth every penny. Ethan clenched his jaw, holding back the anger rising in his chest. This wasn't exaggeration. It was a blatant lie. Selling a vehicle under false pretenses wasn't just unethical. It was illegal. Before he could respond, a female voice cut through the air. That's not accurate. Ethan turned. A young woman wearing a dealership polo with a name tag that read Maya stood a few feet behind them. Her expression was tense, her arms crossed. Brandon shot her a warning look. Maya, stay out of this. She held her ground. The engine wasn't replaced. We did a basic tune-up. You can't tell customers otherwise. Brandon laughed sharply. Why don't you go file some paperwork or something? I got this. Maya's gaze flickered to Ethan for a moment, her lips pressing into a thin line before she turned and walked away toward the reception desk. Ethan exhaled slowly, his pulse pounding in his ears. He wasn't ready to blow his cover, not yet. He needed to see more. Feigning interest, he asked, what kind of warranty comes with this truck? Brandon didn't miss a beat. Full coverage for a year, parts and labor. No extra cost. Another lie. Ethan knew for a fact that the dealership's warranty policy covered only 30 days, and even then, it was limited. He forced a chuckle. Sounds like a great deal. Brandon clapped him on the shoulder. That's what I'm saying. Come on, let's head inside and get you started on some paperwork. Ethan followed him toward a small glass-walled office. As they walked, he glanced around the showroom. Maya was at the reception desk, typing furiously. An older salesman, perhaps in his 50s, spoke to a customer across the room, his body language relaxed and genuine. Meanwhile, the dealership's manager, a heavy-set man wearing a navy blazer, sat behind his office window, scrolling on his phone without a care in the world. If Brandon was lying this easily, how many others were doing the same? And why wasn't anyone stopping them? Inside the office, Brandon grabbed a pen and tapped it against a stack of paperwork. If we get this signed today, I can probably knock a couple hundred off the price. But only if you commit now. Ethan leaned back in the chair. And if I need more time to think? Brandon's smile faltered for the first time. Well, the thing is, we've got other buyers looking at this truck. If you wait, I can't guarantee it'll still be here. Classic manipulation. Scarcity tactic. Ethan folded his arms. I'll take my chances. Brandon exhaled, clearly frustrated. Look, man, I'm trying to get you the best deal here. You don't want to miss out. Ethan let the silence linger. Then, slowly, he stood up. I think I've seen enough. Brandon frowned. What do you mean? Ethan removed his cap. He pulled off the glasses, ran a hand through his hair. Recognition dawned on Brandon's face. He went pale. I own this dealership, Ethan said, his tone calm but sharp. And I just caught you lying to a customer. Me. Multiple times. Brandon's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Ethan turned toward the glass door. Get your manager in here. Now. Brandon stood frozen, then nodded stiffly and hurried out. Within minutes, the manager entered the office, his phone tucked hastily into his pocket. Mr. Reynolds, he greeted cautiously. We weren't expecting you today. I wasn't planning on being here either, Ethan replied. But I had a feeling something was wrong. And I was right. He gestured toward Brandon. He lied to my face. Told me a truck had a new engine when it didn't. Tried to push me into signing based on false information. The manager's brow furrowed. That's unacceptable. He turned to Brandon. What do you have to say for yourself? Brandon took a breath. It's just sales talk. Customers expect a little embellishment. It's how we close deals. That's not sales talk, Ethan said. That's fraud. The manager hesitated. Ethan's eyes narrowed. How often does this happen? The manager's silence stretched a fraction too long. Then he cleared his throat. I trust my team to handle customers professionally. If mistakes were made, I'll address them. Mistakes. Ethan's voice sharpened. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. The manager sighed. I won't pretend every deal has been perfect, but we do what we have to do to hit our targets. Ethan's jaw clenched. Not like this. Not under my name. Brandon shifted in his seat. We've got quotas, Ethan. If we don't hit them, we're out. Customers haggle. They waste our time. We do what it takes. And you think that justifies lying? Neither man answered. I saw something else today, Ethan continued. Maya tried to stop the lie, and Brandon shut her down. She knew it was wrong. Why wasn't she supported? The manager sighed. Maya's new. She doesn't always understand how this business works. She understands more than you do if she's the only one pushing back against dishonest sales tactics. Brandon scoffed. Ethan ignored him. This ends today, Ethan said. No more lies. No more pressure tactics. If a car has issues, we disclose them. If a warranty only covers 30 days, we say so. If a salesperson can't hit their numbers honestly, they're gone. He turned to the manager. Are you capable of running this store the right way? Because if you're not, I'll find someone who is. The manager nodded reluctantly. Understood. That's not enough. I want an action plan on my desk by tomorrow. A full review of sales practices, customer complaints, and employee feedback. And I want Maya in my office before the end of the day. Brandon was suspended on the spot. He left the office in silence. Later, when Maya sat across from Ethan, she looked both nervous and hopeful. How long have you worked here? He asked. Almost a year. And how often have you seen sales tactics like Brandon's? She hesitated. More times than I can count. Why did you speak up today? Because it was wrong. Simple. Honest. Ethan nodded. I need people like you. I'm making changes. But I can't do it alone. Maya met his gaze. I want to help. But I don't know if the others will change. Then we find the ones who won't and replace them. By the end of the day, Ethan stood on the showroom floor and addressed the staff. He laid out the new policies. No deception. No pressure. Ethical sales practices with mandatory retraining. If anyone refused, they'd be let go. Some employees looked relieved. Others wary. Brandon left without protest. Maya stayed. And together, they began rebuilding something better because it wasn't just about cars. It was about trust, about integrity, and about making sure Reynolds Auto Group became a place where honesty wasn't just a slogan, it was the standard.